Hello, and welcome to Pandora Astrology's monthly horoscope for February of 2023. We are the astrologers of Pandora Astrology. I'm Jamie Kale Miller. I'm in Berkeley, California.
And I'm Julia Mijas, and I'm in San Francisco, California.
Let's take a look at what's happening for you in February. So let's get into these two asteroid goddesses that I love to talk about here for you, Libra. In particular, Ceres and Juno. Starting with Ceres, which is in a really important spot for you specifically because she's traveling through your sign of Libra, and therefore she's in your first house. Ceres is a very grounding planet. She loves being physical, being material. And so she covers the things having to do with the physical world, such as really being in your body, really enjoying the food that you're eating, and how you're digesting it, and also things to do with your safety, your security, and your finances, and how they can go better. So Ceres brings all those themes, and when she's in the first house, there's a tendency for you to embody whatever archetype might be in your first house. And because the first house is a house of identity and transparency, what you see is what you get in the first house. And so you may find yourself embodying this archetype and wanting to be more physical and more material. So Ceres in Libra does have a tendency to want to beautify oneself and may forget about comfort. And so Ceres in Libra is definitely capable of buying those shoes that pinch your toes and don't really feel great, but make your calves look spectacular. You might want to rethink that sort of thing when Ceres goes retrograde, which she is doing this month around the 3rd, depending on your time zone. When Ceres goes retrograde, it's a really good time. It's an important time, in fact, for doing a retrospection about how your clothes fit, your body image, how you feel in your body, and really coming into a state of acceptance and affection for your physical self that is your vehicle in the world, and it helps you to move around and have an impact on the physical world. Your body is a wonderful, miraculous thing, and this is a really great transit for coming into a state of better love for your physical self. So that might involve changing things about how you eat or how you dress, and it can certainly have an impact in the financial realm. And so this transit might bring you face to face with some of the practical impact your budget has been having, and you might need to make some changes. In particular, I'm calling this a financial rebalancing period because Ceres being in Libra, Libra is all about establishing balance, looking for and finding what's fair, engaging in partnership in whatever planet is transiting through it, whatever that planet is up to, bringing a partnership feel, and rebalancing. So Ceres in Libra is going to ask you to look at your budget and to think about how could your money be more balanced. How are you earning? How are you saving? How are you spending? Are you watching your money move through every part of that process? Are you conscious of where your money is and what it's doing for you? And how can you arrange it all into a set of habits and procedures that works like clockwork? So Ceres is going to be asking you to look pretty hard at that stuff. And it wouldn't be surprising if there were some messes and some tangles along the way. That's pretty typical when a planet goes retrograde. And then that brings it to our awareness, and then we can do something about it. Ceres will be retrograde until early May, and we'll tell you all about it when it goes direct. Juno is in Aries this month. She is traveling along through your 7th house, which is the house of partnership. She loves to be in this house. She is a goddess of committed partnership, most specifically, meaning spousal relationships, very long-term partnerships of any kind and business relationships as well. She is a social maven. She is all about managing people. She is a hostess and matchmaker. So Juno in the seventh house is terrific. It's a great transit. And Juno's passing through Aries. It wouldn't be surprising if you spent this transit, which is about 2 months, by the way. So she's going to be in this house all month for you, a little bit of last month and a bit of next month too. Because Aries is so much about being honest and direct and forthright, this could be a really good transit for getting into some conversations and some dialogues and some mirroring with your partner, where you can be a straight shooter and you can tell your partner exactly what's on your mind. And it's also really important to be in a listening mode, because a dialogue is a two-way thing, and to really hear. Ask your partner for the unvarnished truth and then receive it in a good way that supports and sustains the partnership instead of eroding it. And that could really serve you well, both at home and in business. Hey, Julia, what's up for the Librans of the world relative to Venus, Mercury, and Mars?
Yeah, well, hi there, Libra. Let's talk about your favorite planet, Venus, first. She represents love and beauty, two things that are very near and dear to you, and she starts the month in your sixth house. Now, this is a very practical house. It's not necessarily the most romantic house. It has to do with your job and your health and your routines. But Venus in the sixth is really nice for getting along well with the people you work with. If you're single, you might crush hard on someone you meet through work. It's also a good period in your health. It might be a time of establishing better beauty routines for yourself too, since Venus represents beauty and the sixth house represents your habits and rituals. Then by the 19th or 20th, depending on where in the world you are, Venus does enter a very romantic house, and that's the seventh, and it represents your partner. It can also represent platonic relationships like a business partner as well. But generally speaking, Venus in the seventh house is a wonderful transit for your relationship, where you guys will just be getting along a lot better, sort of falling in love all over again. And if you're single, it can be an excellent transit for getting out there and meeting someone new as well. Now, Mercury, the planet that represents your mind, it rules communication, it rules travel, and it enters, or it starts the month in your fourth house, which is the family house of family and home, and it also represents your past as well. So for the beginning of the month, your mind is really preoccupied with maybe something that happened a long, long time ago. Maybe you're thinking about your childhood a lot more. Mercury in the fourth house is also a time where you might be sort of strategizing or planning something around the home front in general. Maybe you're thinking of selling your home or buying a new home or moving or just doing things to improve your house as well. And you might find that you're connecting a lot more with the people you live with, or maybe getting more texts and phone calls from your family members as well. Then by February 11th, Mercury is going to go into your fifth house. This is a house of fun. It represents dating. It represents creativity. It represents diversions and hobbies and things that you do for fun in general, like games. And when Mercury enters the fifth house, your mind might be more on games and pranks and amusement than the serious stuff in life too. Now, the fifth house also represents your children, so you might be connecting a lot more and communicating more with them in general too during this cycle. And if you do anything creative, you could be strategizing and planning a lot in your creative life as well. Then finally, Mars, the planet of action and activity, which just recently finished a retrograde cycle last month. So this retrograde cycle all happened in your ninth house. So Mars has been in your ninth since sort of late fall, early winter, a long time. It's good that it's finally direct now, because it'll be less difficult to deal with. But for the past few months with Mars, this planet of action, activity, flare-ups and frustration in your ninth house of legal affairs, education, travel, it's been causing some issues in these departments. So if you're in school, maybe you've been having more arguments with your fellow fellow students, maybe your teachers as well, having to redo some of your work. If you've been involved in anything legal, it may have not been the easiest period either. And travel may have been full of frustrations along the way. Now, Mars is finally direct, so that's going to make these things a lot easier to deal with. And you might find that you're more energized when it comes to expanding yourself, learning new things, as well as maybe feeling more eager to take trips and kind of go out into the world too. And Mars will finally be out of this house next month, which I think will be a really welcome relief.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, I want to tell you about the 2 moons of the month and the seasonal change, beginning with a full moon in Leo, which is landing in your 11th house of community, friends, groups. And this moon in Leo is probably going to be filled with big emotions, like a cup running over with big feelings. And it opposes the sun in Aquarius, which brings a little bit more of the objectivity and distance and the space. And we're calling this one you in the mirror of community. But paradoxically enough, Libra, because well, the nature of Libra is to be so relational that you often end up having transits of planets in signs that are opposite to the nature of the houses they're passing through. And so Leo usually rules the 5th house, but the moon is here in Leo in the 11th. The sun is in Aquarius, which rules the 11th house, and it's here actually in your 5th. So, so I could see this going a couple of different ways. One is you might be out in a large group of people and find yourself just like wanting to blow your top, just big emotions coming out. It's hard to sit on them. And then not helped by Uranus over here in the 8th house, you know, stirring up those deeper, more mysterious, unconscious emotions that can tend to occupy the 8th house. And you might find yourself just wanting to grandstand a little bit. I would definitely caution against that. And knowing that this moon is coming can help. But I think that during this moon, right around February 5th or the few days before or after it, you might find that you have a lot more objectivity when you're on your own, when you're kind of more aligned with this sun in Aquarius in the 5th house. Now, this moon does have a lot of help and a lot of support embedded right in it. There is a gorgeous set of trine and sextiles to Chiron and Juno right here, and also to Mars. So many planets are helping to tap off the intensity of this moon. And if you want to find out more about it, you should check out our website, pandoraastrology.com, and look in the forecast tab where you will find a video about this moon and the other moon of this month. But to really just bottom line it, you might find that either you have the urge to have a big emotional outburst in a group setting around February 5th, and that you should really retreat to your own personal space of more logic and objectivity, or you may have a conversation with a friend in which the friend is the one who is having a big emotional outburst, which might even be tied to some finances that you share with the friend. So caution there, and where you are playing the role of the logical and reasonable one. So then the next thing that happens this month is that the sun moves from Aquarius to Pisces, and does that around the 18th or 19th, depending on your time zone. Here's the moon arriving in Pisces. It'll be traveling through this sign for about 30 days. That's completely normal and regular. And the sun is a really great planet for consciousness, awareness, and attention. Putting your attention deliberately into the arena that the sun is traveling through in your chart is a really great use of the solar transit. And in this case, the sun is moving into the 6th house, which is the arena of work, health, service, and personal organization. And Julia was talking about this relative to Venus. So bringing the sun here, bringing the light of consciousness here means paying attention to your health habits, making sure that you are running your physical routines in the ways that will keep you in the best health. And also paying attention to how you organize your life at home and at work. Is your desk clean? Do you know what's in your calendar? Are your contacts well organized? Do you know what your systems are that make life run at home and work? So another really good use of the sun passing along through your sixth house. Because this is a house that's occupied by Pisces, you may find some tendency to be a little bit dreamy, drifty, or even dotty about your physical routines. It may be hard to maintain solid habits, and this transit can help. So then the next thing that happens right away on the 19th, or as I'm showing you here, maybe closer to the 20th, depending on your time zone, we have the new moon in Pisces. And every new moon is time for new beginnings, rebirths, starting over. Seeds are planted in darkness, and so it's not necessary to really know what, or see outcome from what you're planting, because that happens over time. But now is the time for planting those seeds. And because this is a new moon in Pisces, these should be seeds of imagination, seeds of compassion, seeds of spirituality, seeds of empathy and giveaway. So this is a really good time, because this new moon lands in your sixth house. This is a really good time to bring some compassion and empathy to your workplace, to create and birth new systems that will help things run more smoothly at work or at home. And to dream up how your life could be a more effective and well-running machine. And because Saturn is here with the new moon, it's very close to it, right here in the end of Aquarius. Saturn is bringing a very rational and logical feel. So we're calling this one Birth Dreams Grounded in Logic. Saturn brings the grounding, the discipline, the order, the structure, the goals, the ambition to build something real. And Aquarius brings the objectivity, the distance, the rational, the logical, to help that thing really make sense. So whatever dreams you birth, if they are groundable, then you'll be able to ground them. And I really recommend that approach during this new moon. You can find out more about this moon on our website, pandoraastrology.com, on the forecast page.
If you love Pandora Astrology's free and informative horoscopes, please do hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and share our horoscopes with your friends.
Horoscopes are fun, but they're also really general. If you want to explore this month's themes more personally, we'd love to meet with you in a real live reading where you can gain powerful insights and learn what you need to make the big decisions in your career, family, or relationship. You'll find the link in the description below. Have a fantastic February, and until next time, we'll see you around the cosmos.
Bye-bye.